Hello, good evening to everybody. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to the third session of the Masterclass lecture series under the topic of the post-independence new towns. This event is collaboratively initiative in the Gujarat Institute of Civil Engineers and Architects GICA in association with the Ahmedabad Management Association AMA and the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industries GCCI. The event is supported by Sun Builders, courtesy by ITPI and NAREDCO. I welcome today's speaker, Sri N.K. Patel Sahib. N.K. Patel Sahib, construction, town planning, એન્જિનિયરિંગ, અર્બન પ્લાનિંગ, રિયલ એસ્ટેટ વગેરે તમામ શાખાઓનો ખૂબ જ બહોળો અનુભવ ધરાવે છે અને આજની સિરીઝમાં એમને સાંભળવાની આપણને બધાને ખૂબ જ આતુરતા છે, ખૂબ જ મજા આવશે. હું એમને હાર્ટીલી વેલકમ કરું છું. I also warmly welcome our chief guest, Professor Utpal Sharma. He is professor at Institute of Architect and Planning at Nirma University અને લગભગ 2014થી એ ત્યાં સેવાઓ આપી રહ્યા છે. આજના ગેસ્ટ ઓફ ઓનર આપણા ભાર્ગવભાઈ દેસાઈ છે. આપણી સંસ્થાના તેઓ એક્સ પ્રેસિડેન્ટ છે. રેશમામાં તેઓ ખૂબ જ સારી રીતે ઇન્વોલ્વ છે. ઘણા બધાને તૈયાર કર્યા છે આજ સુધીમાં એમને. એ સિવાય પીસી સ્નેહલમાં એ ખૂબ જ કી રોલ ભજવી રહ્યા છે. એક ડાયરેક્ટર છે, એમને પણ હું આજે વેલકમ કરું છું. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to my colleagues at GICA, particularly the Continuing Education and Capacity Building Committee and their entire organizing team. GICA, Ahmedabad Management Association, GCCI, ITPI, NAREDCO, હાજર તમામ સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ, એકેડેમિશિયન, પ્રોફેશનલ્સ તમામને હું હાર્ટીલી વેલકમ કરું છું. અને આજના આ ટૉપિકમાં આપણને આજે ખૂબ જ મજા પડશે, ખૂબ જ આનંદ આવશે અને ખૂબ જ જાણકારી અને નોલેજ મળશે. ગુડ ઇવનિંગ એન્ડ થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ.
I'll now request Shri Apurva Thakurshi, our Vice President, to kindly felicitate Shri N.K. Patel, our Speaker. I'll request Shri Saurin Shah, our Treasurer, to kindly felicitate Shri Utpal Sharma. I'll now invite Shri Yash Majithia to kindly felicitate Shri Bhargav Patel, our Joint Treasurer. Now I invite our guest of honor, Shri Bhargav Patel, Bhargav Desai. He is our past president, to kindly deliver his address. Thank you.
Very good evening and warm welcome to everyone who is present here. Today we are going to listen to someone whom I will definitely define as a modern Rishi. Modern Rishi is our N.K. Patel. Actually, what was the role of the Rishi in ancient time? The Rishi's role was to impart the knowledge and whatever the understanding he had achieved to his disciples. એટલે એમના અનુયાયીઓને બહુ જ સારું જ્ઞાન આપે અને એ રીતે ઋષિ ગુરુકુળમાં ત્યાં રહી એમના શિષ્યો એમના અનુયાયીઓ ત્યાં જાય. આ આપણા મોડર્ન ઋષિ એવા છે કે એમની વ્યસ્તતામાંથી એમના બિઝનેસમાંથી એટલો બધો સમય કાઢી એટલું રિસર્ચ કરી અને આપણને લોકોને એ આ જે વિષયો અલગ અલગ વિષયો ઉપર એનું આપણને જ્ઞાન આપે છે. સો આઈ વુડ વન્સ અગેન રિક્વેસ્ટ એવરીબડી હિયર ટુ ગીવ અ બિગ રાઉન્ડ ઓફ એપ્લોઝ. He is a very close friend of mine. I've seen him from the very, very near, and he is so dedicated and so passionate for his work. And really, we all are, NK, very much thankful to you to find out such innovative subjects and impart your understanding and knowledge to us. Now, today's topic is very interesting. Post-independent new towns. So, once we say that post-independence, so then we must understand what was the pre-independence. That was the entire colonial rule. Britishers were exploiting us. They were literally looting us. So all the cities what they had formed were on the ports. Like you say, Kolkata or Madras, Mumbai, they were all port cities. And port cities, why? કે જે કંઈ એમને આપણી પાસેથી માલ લૂંટ્યો હોય એ જલ્દી ઇંગ્લેન્ડ પહોંચે અને ઇંગ્લેન્ડમાં એમનો વેસ્ટ કે ડમ્પ જે બધો હોય એ આપણે ત્યાં લાવે. અને બીજું એવું એમને એક જ પોલિટિકલ જ્યારે સુપર પાવર બહુ જ થઈ ગયા ત્યારે દિલ્હીમાં એમને દિલ્હી એસ્ટાબ્લિશ્ડ. એન્ડ ઓલ ધીસ સિટીઝ, ઓનલી 4 cities they developed. But subsequently after the post independence, at the time of independence, 47, our urban population was, I don't think, more than 17-18%, subject to correction, I am not very sure. Now it is almost, we have touched to 40%. So we can see that from 17 to 40%. So naturally, there was immense pressure to develop more and more towns, cities, and small, medium, large towns, cities, etc. So we developed so many cities and towns post-independence. I'm sure NK will be covering this thing. I have a very, very limited knowledge on this particular subject. But mainly, NK, in my opinion, the cities which we developed were on the 3 fronts. One is like a very good planning or industrial requirement, or there is a very pleasant life or the good to live. On these 3 criteria mainly we developed the cities and towns, and so many towns and cities have been added. I'm sure NK will cover everything in this particular lecture. I would not like to give my half-hearted knowledge to share here when such esteemed gathering is here. And now I will just touch a subject of the institute. GICA and ITPI, these are the knowledge hubs. And continuously, these 2 institutes and the office bearer of these institutes, they keep on arranging the seminars, lectures, invite the experts so that the current situation, whatever is developing, those information can be passed on to the members. So with this thing, I would not like to spend more time and give today's entire time to very eminent speakers, Utpal Sharma and N.K. Patel. Thank you very much.
Now I'll request our Honorable Secretary, Shri Vikas Shah, to give the introduction of the topic and the speaker. Thank you.
Post-colonial new towns. This lecture traces the journey of India's post-independence new towns, Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Gandhinagar, Navi Mumbai and Amravati, unveiling their unique landscapes and stories. It offers a comprehensive exploration of these towns from their inception often driven by singular industrial or administrative visions, to their evolution into multifaceted urban ecosystems. Each town is unique in its genesis, reflecting the socio-political and economic contexts of its time. By examining their trajectories, the aim is to provide a deeper understanding of their impact on the cities they serve, their influence on cultural and social norms, and the myriad aspects of urban development they embody. Among these towns, Chandigarh stands out as a symbol of successful planning and development. This topic also highlights the need for proper urban planning in the rapidly growing urban population in India, which is also now the fastest growing economy of the world. We need to handle emergence of megacities and ensure proper regional balance through state level urban development strategy. Now about the introduction of speaker, Sri Narendra K. Patel, NK, is a registered civil engineer and urban planner. He spent initial years of his career with Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority. He transitioned to become a real estate developer after working for 2 decades in the public sector as a town planner. Additionally, he serves as a visiting faculty at SAPT, Nirma and Anant National Universities. He is also the author of Sourcing Land for Urban Development, Town Planning Scheme, and Steel Mills to Megapolis, 3 publications on urban planning. Now our chief guest, Professor Utpal Sharma, at the Institute of Architecture and Planning at Nirma University, is spearheading the institution since its inception in 2014. He has over 30 years of experience both as an academician and professional in the field of architecture and planning. He studied architecture from IIT Roorkee, urban and regional planning from SAPT, and did further specialize in minimum cost housing from McGill University, Canada. He has received honorary doctorate from Sorbonne University, France in 2018. Prior to joining Nirma University in 2014, he was the Dean at the Faculty of Planning in SAPT University. Our guest of honor, Sri Bhargav Desai, he is currently associated with 5 companies in various capacities and he is director with Hindustan Home Finance Limited, PC Snail Engineers Private Limited, HP Builders Private Limited, PC Snail Realty Private Limited. His most recent position is with PC Snail Construction Private Limited as an additional director. The first company, Sri Bhargav Desai, was a director in HP Builders Private Limited. Thank you.
Now I'll invite our speaker, Shri N.K. Patel, to kindly give his presentation. And I'll also request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly settle in the first row.
This is in series the 3rd lecture. As we all know, we all are concerned with built environment professional, either an engineer, architect, urban planner, a contractor. The urbanization, we all know, going very rapidly. And sometimes we listen that there is a mission of 100 smart city, or to curtail or to adjust in future, we may require to create few tholera also. And in that connection, this is a very comprehensive journey, the evolution of towns from ancient time. Then what are the different, if you want to classify it, what are the different types of town? Then the title is post-colonial towns. But before that, I feel that we should know about our immediate past. So pre-independence, I have took 2 examples. One is Jaipur, which is must, and second is a Lutyens Delhi. So I would try to convert not only the Lutyens Delhi, but what are the today's contexts, how the DDA emerged, what is a national capital region, and what are the 2001, 2021, 2004 one. So these are the various development plan of Delhi. I have tried to touch upon them also. So we'll start the presentation. So this is the index where introduction, new towns, Jaipur, New Delhi, then Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Gandhinagar, Salt Lake City, Navi Mumbai. I have taken two this excellent example. When Salt Lake City was constructed in 1965 onwards, at that time Calcutta was a very booming. Now it's the number 4 or number 5. So, so how they have created this Salt Lake City after a failure of Kalyani township, and then Navi Mumbai, of course, is a great example. Then Naya Raipur, Amravati, and what are the learnings and my epilogue. So, as we saw, okay, by 2030, 60% world is going to be urban, and there are excellent planned city across the globe, like Tianjin city in China, which is an excellent eco-city. Or if we go back to ancient, then Alexandria, and then Brazil capital, that is Brasilia. So, which is a contemporary to Chandigarh. Brasilia and Chandigarh were being developed during the same period. So, from 14th to 17th century, how in Renaissance period, evolution of town has been happened. But we are more concerned after 1947. So from 1947 to 1965, right, government, at that time in 1918, the Soviet Union socialist era has been started, and we were very close to Soviet Union development. We are close to their socialistic philosophy, and in that case, how during those periods, the Russian and East European country like Holland and Poland and Bulgaria and such country, how they have been driven by that philosophy, right? So in that case, land was the only resource, and it should be belong to the public. It should be a state subject. Then they were trying to draw a canvas of new development in a rural area, a backward area. Similarly, if you see our primary after 1947, if you go to the first, second, third 5-year plan, more stress has been given, other than the Bhakra Nangal of Hirakund Dam, has been given to bigger production industry, and all has been set up in a public sector. My book, that is a steel mill to megapolis, where I have given in very detail how the coal field, how that coal was transported to Calcutta for exporting at UK, how there was a coal field and other mine-rich material was available in that eastern India portion, and government has started Bokaro, Bhilai, Durgapur, number of the plants there. Before that, the Jamshedpur is a classic example which has been started in 1920. That is a salute to Tatas, and that was the technology was also American technology. Most of the design and other things has been primarily done by the Americans. So the thrust was on more regional development, thrust was on a land with a state, and they want to restrict the growth of a primate city. How we can restrict the growth of primate city is a big question. So we are not touching upon that point. So go back to the planning history, our planning text. So Absalom Hayward from 1903 to 1920, he bought one movement. There were another few architects and urban planners who also supported this movement. That is a garden city movement. And why this garden city movement has been, the society of UK has supported due to the ills of the London, due to the sudden rise of our industrial revolution. And at that time, we find that number of the epidemic of London was there in 1800 and 1900, early century, right? So the garden city concept was there, but the Soviet principle was something different, the economic reconstruction. So Howard's principle means Abzener's Howard's garden city physical concept has been merged with the social reason. And in that case, how they did it? So with a new town policy, particularly I'm talking about the United Kingdom. So where new town policy has been erected, we can see, as I have told you, in our 5-year plan also about how to create the new town with the help of, in a backward area, with a central assistance and with a public sector, bigger industry. So this is again, if we talk about a global city, so now in last 10 years the definition has been changed. The population or manufacturing or industrial hub are not the global city. So what are the, so there are, GAWC is a one think tank. That is a planners think tank. So as per them, with their in-depth research, so World City on 4 advanced service activity, they are specialization and agglomeration. So these are the hallmark. So these services are accountancy, advertising, banking and law. This was initially. Some experts have also added command and control center, which is a government ITES centers. And some expert also said that information technology is in this digital area is also one of the must. And at that time they said that the headquarters like UN headquarters, Washington DC, so they are the global city. So this is only a definition of global city. And in that context, if I see our urban history, urban city evaluation, post-independent, then only the Navi Mumbai fits. During those days, they were thinking to create another global city. The Mumbai was a global city to stop the Mumbai decay, right? So they have think Navi Mumbai as a global city from first day. So these are the cities which are around the world in Egypt, Mesopotamia, then Yellow River in China, Indus Valley in India. Then this is the two very interesting figure. In China, this earlier city, I'm talking about an ancient city, right? Which were in a Yellow River civilization and which were also having 9 square. So our Vastu Mandapa or Vastu Mandala, we also talk about the 9 square. So I just compared the basic thing during ancient time was a square of 9. So if we list down what are the in India, so Mohenjo-daro, Dholavira, Lothal, Sanchi, Madurai, Amravati, not this Amravati, the earlier one, which was near the Vijayawada. And from that ancient city, the Andhra Pradesh has given the name of their new upcoming capital, Amravati, and Hampi also. So now let go again to our basic main theme, that the new town, which was emerged in UK. So first town planning legislation was in 1901. Then idea of new town from the garden city movement, it was done. So they advocated, the special committee has advocated 100 such new towns are required in and around Birmingham, in and around Manchester, in and around England. So these are the industrial center of UK during those time. So they have suggested to have 100 such towns So it started in 1947. Actually, they started in 1942, but due to the Second World War, the momentum of new town has not been catch up. And so after 1947, the new town movement started for 30 years. So in that 30 years, there are 38 new town with a 1.5 million population was residing during those time. So today it may be a 3 million or plus. But why they stopped this 1987, the new town movement? Why they started? Due to the ills of London, due to the ills of the existing urban center, they started new center. But by doing that, that ills has been increased. The decay coefficient has been increased in the base of the old city, right? So that political favor which was given to new town has been withdrawn. And after that, that new town movement has been stopped. And after that, there are few new town has been developed, but that is not through these 38 new towns are with 100% government support, finance and other. But another now, after 87, it was a private fund. Now, during those time, Patrick Gede is a great urban planner. And he has worked in India also. He has worked for Mumbai. He has worked for Indore. He has worked for a number of the city. So what he was believing, preserving the urban fabric, and he advocated the organic growth of a settlement. He was not believing on a grid or a straight line or such zonal pattern, preserving only features like tree-shaded avenues, right? And this says that in public life and traditional Indian city, this is the thing which India should adopt. So I have talked about during British colonial period, Maharaja Jai Singh is one of the good example. Bhargavi has told about all the three port city. They are also developed by the UK only, but their purpose was to administrative centers, then military outposts, cantonment or the trade hub. They are not much interested about the urban local lot, urban society during this time. And similarly, he rightly said that after 1857, they found that to administer from Calcutta, the whole India will be difficult. So they moved, they were strong enough. So they moved from 1920 from Calcutta to Delhi. And after going there, the original Delhi, there are, it will come to one of the slide of Delhi, but it was a Shahjahanabad. It was a very congested city like our Ahmedabad walled city area. So they found that they cannot run this administration of the whole country from there. So that's why they decided to go for a Lutyens Delhi. So if you go for a classification, so one is towns where investment were made for the growth of the community and economic growth. So in that case, it's a public-private partnership kind of things. While in a second B, that is a town for government administrative purpose, safety purpose, military purpose. So they are cantonment and capital towns. So where the resources has been 100% given by the state. If we classified the existing town, there are educational towns like Roorkee and Kharagpur, the port town like Gandhidham or Kandala. There are railway towns like Asansol and Kharagpur. Cantonment is a Pune and Meerut was earlier a cantonment town. Pune was known as a pensioners' paradise. There was no industry, no trade. There was a big cantonment and it was a pensioners' paradise due to the good weather also. So there are capital town and historical capital town like Jaipur, Udaipur, etc. Again, there are refugee town, the Faridabad near Delhi, Gandhidham, So there are few refugee towns, natural resource town, like there is a good town at Kolar Goldfield. There is Tuticorin or a Ratnagiri. So they were due to the mines and other minerals they had been developed. Simla or Uti was a hill town developed by the English people. Nowadays, SEZ town like Gift City or Dholera. So satellite town. Thane is a pure satellite town of Mumbai. So these are the just a classification. Now we'll go to a classic example of Jaipur. So in medieval towns, Rajput were very much known for their military, agrarian, and mercantile and religious nature. These are the four characters. Earlier, Dausa was the first capital, then Amber, and third was a Jaipur. And they, with a centric Indian philosophy, they started in the center of the city. The Govindji Devji temple has been created. That is leads to the genesis of the city. And at now, during those periods, Jaipur was one of the remarkable city. And what it shows us, city planning. Second is the sustainability of that heritage city area. Third is a spatial manifestation. It's architecture and urban design, but how it do it, and social fabric through an architecture. It was the first city. Before that, I have not taken Fatehpur Sikri. Why? Fatehpur Sikri is also a planned city. There are few good components, but it was made as a palatial city. That is one. Second, as a security reason. But they have not taken any care of merchants, or they have not called the artisan. While in Jaipur, the Raja Jaisi has called the artisan and other, and there is a specific arrangement has been made. So that's why Jaipur is a much successful example. This is the general history. From Amber to Jaipur, why? So Amber was a hill. There is scope of expansion was limited. So new capital was required. But like Amber, they don't want a military retreat. They want a commercial city, a business center of thriving enterprise. So Thakurs has been called. We know it's a Bhumi of Thakurs. So there are a number of the Thakurs. So Jaipur people call the Thakurs of all the region. So it is a horseshoe shape. On the northwestern side, there is a Nahargarh mountain range, which is a Aravalli range. And on both the side also, there is a mountaineering range. Only towards the south, it is open. So, as I told you, center of the nucleus is a Govinda Devi temple. There are parallel road, eastern side, and they have created 4 chowk. One Ram Chowk, Ganj Chowk, right? And 2 chowk that is near Suraj Pole and Moon Pole. So they were believing in Suraj dynasty, and due to that they have given. So that east-west axis of town was divided by 3 perpendicular. You can see in the side sketch, perpendicular road. The crossing of these 2 cardinal axes defined the main public squares. That is a Badi Chopper, Manek Chowk. These are the name Amber Chowk. So you can see this plan. And now at the end, when I will be talking about Amravati, just compare the road iron and grid pattern. Compare the size of the neighborhood. It will match with the Jaipur. So what are the location we will not touch upon. Then as I tell you about the Hindu system, mandala was constructed. Maharaja and Lord Vishnu, that is a Govind Dev, put at the hub, and 3 by 3 grid lines. So they have tried to put 9 grids, but you will see only 8, right? So added they have 1 grid downstairs. And why they were not able to do, it was a mountainous range on that side. These are the various, and see about the road. The main road is 111 feet. The secondary street has 55, and third one is a 27. So during those days, the hierarchy of road system has been designed in Jaipur. So who was with Maharaja Jai Singh? So there was one Bengali Brahmin who was a good, Jai Singh himself was an astronomer, he was a good town planner. And Vidyadhar Bhattacharya, he was one of the person who has been appointed. You can say he was a town planner or architect of the whole Jaipur during those days. So after that, during Maharaja Ramsi, observatory has been restored. Then some modernization during 19th century has been done. Hawa Mahal has been done by the king, Savai Pratap Singh. This is another phase of development. So phase 1 during Jai Singh, then phase 2, city grew out of the walled city. During all Thakur Haveli you will find outside the original walled city. So as I have told you earlier, Thakur has been called, so they had been restored. Then in phase 3 is a 5 development scheme they have started. They have not prepared a development plan which we prepared in 1981 or so. So these are the 4 areas. Then excellent example is Vidyadhar Nagar. Is a satellite town in Jaipur designed by our great, very respectable Dr. B.V. Doshi, and established this in 1984 to 86. The brief was to plan the new city of Vidyadhar Nagar, about 3.5 kilometers of northwest of parent city Jaipur, to accommodate the additional population. It was a 400 hectare site. So if we talk about the urban design of Jaipur, so they have constructed markets, haveli, temple, streets. So all has proper town planning principle. But there was also urban design principle, architecture principle. They have designed the facades, some gokhadas, which is then chhatris at various places. And very interesting stage. Okay, from the main city to you are going to from 1 feet road to secondary street, and from the third street, the transition of the main street, that is very important. Transition through the built environment you are passing through. So that was very important in Jaipur. So today's tag, it can be clearly seen that it was a repository of craft, tradition, architectural expression. The town planning, so it is an interchange of ancient Hindu, Mughal and contemporary Western idea. Jaipur town planning shows a interchange of ancient Hindu, Mughal, contemporary. This is a statement by the UNESCO. You will find 1 story high, all shops and other things has been given a height, has been given a front, side, all the setbacks also, but the height also they have considered. So walking through a Jaipur walled city is a experience. But right now there is an encroachment on streets. Some have extended their houses on the road. Some walkways are not clear at present. Some service provision during that time, after that it has not been properly. So if you see the electricity, substations, dumping of garbage. So these are the minus point at present of the Jaipur. Now New Delhi. So Mughal Sultanate capital on bank of Yamuna. So all the 7, there are 7 capital of Delhi. It has got a different name, right? Indraprastha is one of the name, right? So all were on a western, at the same location. Location was not changed. On western side of Yamuna river, all has been given. But if you see the design, or if you analyze all these 3, 4, 5 capital of Delhi, you will say that they have prioritized 2 things. One is architecture during those period, those who believe, and second, how to save their power. So safety and security and architecture was the main thing. Then British established a first so-called democratic government at Delhi, and Lieutenant Delhi is a center of political power and administrative hub during those days. And during Delhi's transformation began in 1911, when British decided to shift to. If you go to the history, the population, the walled city which I told you, Shahjahanabad, high population, high density, close-knit development, and to make, right now there is a urban regeneration project is going at presence of two area. One is a Bhendi Bazaar in Mumbai, and second is a Chandni Chowk. So that is in Shahjahanabad. So how to regenerate the urban area, that project is going. So large scale clearance and redevelopment is till it is very impractical. The below table shows what are the total population. Forget about the urban and rural population, but in 1951, 17 lakhs was the population, and in 1961, 27 lakhs. Why it happened? I will come to that. Due to the 7.5 million refugee from the western Pakistan has merged in a western India, and they settle in Delhi. So in Delhi, there are number of the refugee, and they were staying for 5-6 years in that refugee colonies, which are tents or a tin-setted area. So suddenly from 1.7 to 2.7, and 2001 is a 12.1. It's an old figure. Right now, if you talk about Delhi national region, capital region, it is more than 3 crore. Population is more than 3 crore. So as I told you, the history I will not much touch upon. There was a Mauryan dynasty, then there was a Anangpal, the Rajput king, that was a second. Then in 12th century, the Muslim invader, then Prithviraj Chauhan was there. Then fourth is the Mughal Empire. Only during this period, first time the Red Fort and other magnificent architecture or urban design has been done, only in the period of Shahjahan. Before that, as I said, they are most worried about their security. So, as I told you, in 41 to 51, Delhi's population doubled from 7 lakh to 1.4, 14 lakhs. This is due to the influx of refugee. What was the key feature of a first development plan? So there was a green belt was kept, 7 satellite towns were designed, housing, commerce and industry have been properly earmarked, policy has been created, right? But it failed. So in 2002, first time NCR, National Capital Region Planning Board, has been enacted in 1985, and Master Plan 2001 has been done, and DD has revised their 1962 Master Plan. Then right now in MPD 2023, so that is after the economic liberalization. So they in that case, they try to integrate the metropolis. Either it's a Greater Noida. Noida is, what is Noida? It's a new Okhla Industrial Development Association. Noida. Noida is not a village, right? So that is a city, right? So it has been in MPD 2020. We will go to some feature of that. But let's first go back to Lutyens Delhi. So it was in 3,200 acre, designed for a projected population of 65,000 people. And it was a hexagonal pattern intended to link. Why it was a hexagonal? Earlier, it will come, but earlier they have tried for another places in and around Delhi to have a Lutyens Delhi concept there. So this is a hexagonal pattern. So on one hexagonal, there are government, commercial, recreational and posh residential area and the main vista, right? That is a central vista, which we know as a Kartavya Path. It was earlier Rajpath. Before that, before 1947, it was a Kingsway. So in Bungalow zone, see the ground coverage here. Interesting. Only 7% is the ground coverage, and ground plus 1 is allowable in Lutyens, Delhi, Bungalow zone. So this is a timeline from 1911, how the planning action has been taken for the Delhi up to 2023. 2023 is a 2041 Delhi Master Plan. So, as I said you, all the consistently established on a single location on right bank of Yamuna River. And first time, in my earlier slide, I was shown in 1912, they established a Delhi Town Planning Commission. So that was a first plan exercise for the Delhi. So which side they consider? So they consider the eastern side, but due to flooding, they rejected. They tried to consider northern side, but the Darbar area and other area was there, so they did not consider. So western slope of South Delhi, that was they have considered, up to the Rohilla Sarai. The Rohilla is an area you might be aware. So eastern slope also, they don't have much expansion due to hillocks and mountains. Then selection of planner. So the spatial layout has been designed by Lutyens, but before that, what happened in 1930? They have floated a competition. Then competition was abandoned, right? And Herbert Baker and Edwin Lutyens has been appointed as a principal architect. And then Lutyens started his work. There is a considerable debate about the architecture style during those days I'm talking. So at the time Lord Curzon was our Viceroy General. So he was favored of classical architecture, which is a classic, neoclassic, Gothic, this mixture of things which happening during those time, while Baker has suggested Indo-Gothic. So ultimately Lutyens and Baker incorporated Indian elements and motifs. So you'll find number of the Indian element either in Rashtrapati Bhavan or in old Lutyens Delhi, and which is a mixture of Hindu, Buddhist, Jain architecture and Mughal architecture, of course. So whole tension was during those days. Planning process was the conflict between creating a grand capital, which Angrez people was asking, befitting the mighty Indian Empire. So Indian Empire ne befit kartu hoy, they want, and need to control expenditure. So on the other hand, in one of my slide, I have written that 10 crore was a total budget, including the land acquisition. So this was one tension during those days in the built environment professional. So land has been procured, 1700 acre land has been procured from 150 villages in and around Delhi. So what was the compensation? Let me go to rupees 5 per household and rupees 3 per bigha. And if it is irrigated, then rupees 4 per bigha. So this is the compensation which is very low. So right now we are seeing the Raisina Hills or Malcha, Palenji, Dasgad, Talkatora, Motibag. So they were the original villages of that time. So this is about the land procurement. Architecture, I think we have talked, but one is they have used the red sandstone and they have engraved the white marble first time. And you will not find that white marble engraving in other places with a pointed horseshoe arches, right? So this is one of the style during the Khalji dynasty, and sometimes it is called a Pashtun style. If you go very much in detail, so it's a Pashtun style. So this is DDA Act in 1957, 62 First Master Plan 2001, shifts toward more regional perspective plan 2021 as a global metropolis to vision as a, right, and 2041 vibrant Delhi, sustainable Delhi, livable Delhi. These are the present goal. So these are the criteria, and SDG, I think you are aware that Sustainable Development Goal. So how the Prime Minister's various yojana, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, Swarjan Jayanti Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So what is the Delhi's present stand? So if we talk about the Delhi today, what are the today's tag and what are the future plan? So very rapid urbanization has created an unauthorized colony and unplanned development. It's a great challenge. Second thing, the density has been increased like anything, so the infrastructure is very inadequate. And due to that, there is a compromise in safety standard also. So in that scenario, prioritizing act should be the environmental sustainability, target some intervention to mitigate the pollution, enhance the green spaces, promote sustainable resource management. Building resilient to natural disaster is also one of the. Delhi is prone to earthquake zone. It's not an earthquake safe zone like Mumbai. More adaptive and participatory approach is very much required, looking to the environment, climate change, housing and public health. These are the few critique. We will not touch, otherwise I will not finish my, so we'll go to Bhubaneswar. This is the second city. Bhubaneswar is the capital of Orissa, and it's a first planned city, replaced the Cuttack. How the Orissa was primarily a part of Bihar. So Orient people, Birsa Munda, if you have heard the name, who was Birsa Munda? Birsa Munda fought for their native place, fought for their Orissa. So it was decided by Angrez before independence to give Odisha as a province. And at that time, the Cuttack was a capital of Odisha. But due to number of the reasons will come through, the new Bhubaneswar was constructed at a different place. Bhubaneswar is a temple story, and Tribhuvaneshwar is the name of Bhubaneswar, which is a lord of three gods. This is a Lingaraj temple, very famous temple. Then, as I said, you can in 1912, province was required and it was at Cuttack. But Cuttack was on the Mahanadi. So there was flood hazard, there were two Nadi. So due to the prone to the flood, they have not decided. So then the political lobby was interested to go to Chaudhar. Okay, we'll construct across the Mahanadi one bridge and we'll go to the Chaudhar. So it was decided in 1937 for that capital city. Then in site selection, they have appointed a town planner. So this was the first time town planner has been appointed, a committee has been appointed, and that committee has decided the present site of Bhubaneswar. So why they decided? It was just an hour away. There was having some American troop barrage building, US troop barracks. That was there, so initially they can use that. Soil strata was favorable, and most of the land was of forest land. So land acquisition was not the issue. So Königsberger, right? He was a call by first the Mysore state. So if you see in and around Mysore Palace, you will find excellent urban planning, excellent town planning. So he was working there. So he designed Bhubaneswar in 1954 on a neighborhood planning. I will tell you what is a neighborhood planning, where he decided 7 type of road, footpath, parkways, cycle path, minor housing street, major, main arteries, smallest housing street was also 30 feet wide. So here there is a very interesting story. The historian Ravi Kalra, who was a US urban economist and urban planner, he wrote 2-3 books on one was on Bhubaneswar, one was on Gandhinagar, one was on Mumbai also. So he said that by creating a new administrative town, I am creating an administrative caste where all the IAS and IPS people will stay and the peons and other lower drodon will be away. So he wanted to abolish the old caste system. So this was his main planning, you can say the inertia of Koenigsberg to decide like that. So there is one sketch of neighborhood planning, and he does not feel vertical planning as the Odisha was not supported by central government. The next is Chandigarh. So Chandigarh was a central's baby. 100% has been given finance by the center to Chandigarh, while we know Odisha is still developing state, and in that case during those time, so they go for a only ground floor structure, and at that time land was not scarce, and urban land particularly was not that scarce during those days. And he specified few guidelines. He also suggested the orientation of the building also. He has planned many company towns in India before that, so he was knowing about the Indian condition. So during Koenigsberger and Mayer and Nowitzki, the first designer of Chandigarh, they were doing at the same time. But what they in Chandigarh they accepted, the modernism, the ultra-modernism, to see a path to a independent India, to show a path to independent India, to go for a brutalist architecture, which erupted from industrialization. So while I talk about the Patrick Gede, he has a different thought. So this capital has not been designed. It's a complete different than the Chandigarh. And the architecture, most of the architecture has been done by one architect Julius Vaz. He has done all the complex building. There are few good buildings. One of the photographs, that is a Krushi Bhavan. So initial development story was that in 50 when they started Bhubaneswar, they started giving plots and other things. So there was 131% population increase. Then construction began and they constructed one bridge. So there was a bridge is required in Cuttack and Bhubaneswar. After that, the Bhubaneswar was a hot favorite. And then by studying or analyzing this plan, I found during those time, just adjacent was a forest land. So it was not in a ravine or a deserted land. Even though there are good 3-4 parts are there. This is very important thing which he visualized during those days. So Bhubaneswar present, the earlier master plan has 6 units were planned, 6 neighborhood units, out of which 5 units were developed as an administrative complex, remaining were planned as a neighborhood on neighborhood planning principle. He tried to reflect the rural character of a old town in a systematic grid. He felt that the Indians would feel more comfortable with such settlement. So in 1976, first the BRIT, that is the Bhubaneswar Regional Improvement Trust, was created, and 1983 the Bhubaneswar Development Authority came into force. So originally it was designed for 40,000 people. And now what is the population? So this is a 2011 population, 8.5 lakhs. So from 16 square kilometer to 150 square kilometer. This is a growth. So there is a few maps will show how the growth has been happen and why it was radically happen. Due to 4 reasons which I analyze. One is a capital city, so 1 or 2 or 3 lakhs population will be there. Second, to constructing an express road with a Cuttack. That was second thing. Third, they have created InfoCity and other things in and around 2000. And fourth, as we know, Orissa is also a mineral-rich city. So few public sector steel mills are there. So these are the 4 reasons for a growth of Bhubaneswar. So this is about the same master plan. Yes, there is an industrial park in Bhubaneswar renamed as an InfoCity and has been opened the doors for establishment of IT sector and IT SEZ. If you count by the number or contribution to IT and ITES GDP, after Bangalore, Hyderabad will come, then Pune will come third, fourth will be Chennai, fifth will be Navi Mumbai, and sixth will be Gurgaon and Delhi. What are the 7th, 8th and 9th? You will be surprised. The Cochin, Bhubaneswar and Salt Lake City. These are the 3 in first 9. Even Jaipur IT and ITES industry is better than Gujarat. So what are the learning from Bhubaneswar? So it's distressed forced migration is the problem. He viewed that the informality, particularly in Indian city, informal system, informal production process, informal transaction method, informal delivery system, informal economy, they are the very important dimension while you design an Indian city. Second thing, there was a natural drain, the similar things. One of the major, the urban flood, reason for urban flood. So that natural strain has been blocked. And that Daya river, finally this dirty water goes to Chilka Lake, which is Abhyara, right? So due to that, there was a flood before 4 years in Bhubaneswar also. They are developing number of the additional area. But first 6 neighborhood units were developed according to the original master plan of Koenigssberg. Then again they additionally prepared 12 to 13 units. Then they leave aside that Koenigssberg model. So if you see the periphery or the other part of the Bhubaneswar, you will find similarity with any other not such specifically planned Indian city. In the whole study, I have never found the people's participation. There was no people's participation. The politicians were pulling to have a state capital at 3 places. And after that, which Koenigssberg has told initially in his vision, there were 2 things. He wanted to remove the caste system, and second thing, a major public participation. My plan should be given in each street and get the opinion and suggestion from each citizen. They may be a slum dweller or they may be a elite citizen. Now Chandigarh. Urgent need of building a new city. You can see the tent city. It is not a tent city. It is a refugee colony. So in Delhi, there were 39 such refugee colonies were there. So bifurcation of India and Pakistan, I told you 5.3 million Muslim, 53 lakh loko, left for Pakistan, right? And there was an urgent need was a settlement of this refugee. And second thing, it was a great Punjab. Punjab has been bifurcated, East and West Punjab. So their capital Lahore was with the Pakistan. So for East Punjab, now we call it Punjab, but earlier it was a East Punjab. They need a capital city. So, and at that time, the whole India was in a process of searching a new identity for India after independence. It was the first symbol of New India. In 1952, Prime Minister Nehru stated that, let this be a new town, symbolic of the freedom of India, unfettered by the tradition of the past, and expression of the nation's faith in future. So he was saying that the Angrez past you have to forget and talk about the nation's faith in future. Originally, the capital cost was 17.4 crore. Later, it was increased by 25 crore. As I told you, all 25 crore has been given by in first five-year plan to Chandigarh development. But why this is selected Chandigarh? One thing, before establishment of Chandigarh, Jalandhar, Kalka, Kasoli, all were their capital city. As the main capital city was lost in Punjab, so it was a very difficult to administer, to communicate and to work. Which we have already talked about that. So Ludhiana, Ambala district contain approximately 60% of the population of East Punjab state. During those days, this district has got a 60%, so majority people are refugee population during those days. So they decided to go for Chandigarh. Then Nehru was preferring local architects. He was saying that this is the first temple of the India I am going to construct, so for a nationalist agenda. But at that time, our foreign exchange was a very crucial factor. We don't, can you believe? Central government doesn't have that foreign exchange to pay the designer. This was a situation, talking in August 47. But there were two bureaucrats, Mr. P.L. Verma and engineer P.N. Thapar, right? So they were responsible and they appointed American planner Albert Mayer and his Polish partner from Poland, Matthew Nowacki. So work has been given to them. But due to air crash, Matthew Nowacki was died and it was impossible for Albert Mayer alone to implement the plan. And in that situation, Franco-British team of Lee Corbusier, why? There are French people, there are British people in Lee Corbusier team, where Pierre Janet, Maxwell Fry, Jane Drew, these four people are from regional plan to city plan to neighborhood or sectoral plan to road hierarchy to construct all the capital building, government building, administrative building, staff quarters, all has been done. And at that time there was one movement in urbanization. This is a CM movement, right? In Europe. So that was to give out that Venetian style, the Gothic style, and design according to the nature, design according to the available material, design according to the cost efficiency. So this ideology was a key role in design of new city during those days. And Thapar and Verma's surprise, Lee Corbusier was also believing in that ideology. And only a fee of $3,000, which they believed during that time should be $30,000. So with 10 times below, he took this project. So land procurement from 58 villages, 28,000 acre, 21,000 people affected. And how the land is crucial. This is another example. They want to extend the Chandigarh metro to Mohali, and they want to acquire the land. But since 7 years, they are not able to acquire small piece of land. While during those days, I'm talking about a 28,000 acre. So, first they studied the mayor's plan. And as per Corbusier, architecture is a combination of rational and emotional understanding of the working of the city. And town planning speak of one language, and that should be complementing to architecture also. It should generate each other. So that was a Corbusier's theme. This is again about how after that the extended periphery. So there was a periphery control act of 295 square kilometer around Chandigarh, and it was extended to 1315. 2 times there was an extension. And in that case, there was a bifurcation of Great Punjab. And Haryana and Punjab has been bifurcated. So this control area has been gone in a various state. In Punjab and in Haryana, most of the share, only 3% remain with a central Chandigarh administration, means central Corbusier design Chandigarh area. Then in 1952, Development and Regulation Act has been passed. Now see the second one, the Chandigarh Tree Preservation Order. Other things you can read from Google or any book, so I will not emphasize. So in 1952, for preservation or pruning of tree, they created a law. Go back in 1952, so this is very interesting. He has already decided what the trees should be planted on a main street, sub-artillery seat, and neighborhood street. That has been designed by him. Now, first we go to the mayor's master plan. Mayor's master plan, he has a super block. He said that I want to create few super block. Each super block will have 3-4 neighborhood. All 3 neighborhood will be a small village, and that super block will be a town. And by putting 3-4 towns together, the main city will erupt. It was a fancy. So this was a concept. But in Le Corbusier, what happened? So same concept has been changed. But the pattern, instead of that curvilinear or street pattern, he make it the straight gridiron pattern and analogous of a human body. What is head? So it's a capital complex. What is heart? The city center. Means CBD or business area. Lungs, laser valley. Open spaces, sectoral greens. Intellect means cultural and educational institute. Circulatory system, that is a network of 7s. So he designed 7 types of various roads. Viscera means industrial and refuse area. So sector is a self-sufficient unit which comprising of a shops, schools, health centers, recreation area, and within a 10-minute walk. All should be there within a 10-minute walk. And the population was in between 3,000 to 20,000 of a various plot size and typology. These are the V1 to V7. V1 is a regional road, while V7 represent the strip of a parkland containing inside. So it is a pathway or a footway, V7. And V1 was a regional, like a ring road. This was the road hierarchy. Now go about the density. Density, he decided about 25, 50 and 75% per acre. Per acre means 4,000 વાર 4,000 માં અત્યારે આપણે if we construct a house with a 2.7 FSI, we are able to construct 12,000 square feet. And if we have 140 square 3-bedroom bungalow, then 130, 140 is a total number of density per acre at present in Ahmedabad as per the prevailing bylaw. So at that time 25, 50 and 75 was a density. This is again about the budget. It is a unique example of planning city in the regional context. Chandigarh's legal framework for preservation, planning and managing. Its periphery is done by a Periphery Control Act. Earlier it was a 8 kilometer and then it was extended in 64 to 16 kilometer. These are the various housing. So some houses has been done by Maxwell Fry, some has been done by other. So this is the photographs. Most of the photograph in this presentation is clicked by me. I visited all the places. So other than the old one, new one photographs has been clicked by me. So what was the Nehruvian vision? So in Rajendra Park in 1956, he said that it was felt that to build a new city to be the capital of Punjab would give people something new to look forward to. We want them to look to the future with new hope after the trauma they had been through. We felt the new capital would be a symbol of new hope. This is addressed to the refugees. The refugee, they passed through a great trauma. And they felt that Chandigarh is a soothing balm wounded on the spirit of the Punjab. So this is the master plan of Chandigarh of 114 square kilometer. As I have told you, okay, this has been most of the, other than 3% of periphery, all has been given to Haryana and Punjab. So if you see now Mohali and Panchkula, so that is in a original periphery of Chandigarh. There were few trike. There was a CUC, Chandigarh Urban Complex plan was done with considering Lee Corbusier plan. And capital complex was decided, no development zone, but it all such plan has been sold off. What are the problems here? So in periphery, there are HMT, ACC, Chand Mandir Cantonment, Indian Tibet Border Post Complex, CRPF, Terminal Basaltic Research Laboratory, Panchkula town. So these are the new development has come up in last 30-40 years. Government of Punjab has prepared a plan for 2031 of a Mohali and other area, which is of something 144 square kilometer. So 139 was the original Chandigarh. Now the Mohali is 144 and they have developed 60 sector. Parallel to the Chandigarh, they have developed 60 sector. When Chandigarh has been designed as a nation's pride, why it is positive, its positive outcome of Chandigarh, its real experiment, is not widely published, widely taught or widely cited to follow by all the architects and the civil engineers and the town planners. Unfortunately, no attempt was ever made in Chandigarh to distribute the planned population throughout the city. So if you see the plan, the nearer populations, always there are secretaries and additional secretary and ministers. Then you go there, the chaprasi will come at the end. So this was the scene in Chandigarh, which is not there in Gandhinagar, which I will show you. So after formulation of two states, I talk about that. now Gandhinagar. After 13 years, the Bombay state has been divided into Maharashtra and Gujarat. Mumbai has been transferred to Maharashtra, and Gujarat doesn't have a capital, right? So we required a capital. So at that time, they decided to have a greenish capital. This is a talk during the high-stake political lobby during those days. At present, you can see that greenery, central vista, ornamental garden, regional greens, new urban forests, and there are 4 million trees are there. So it is a third planned city after Bhubaneswar and Chandigarh. It is named as a capital name as a Mahatma Gandhi Gandhinagar, who formed the state and father of nation. At that time, during the elite people, the mill owners, they are the more influential lobby. And American architect Louis Kahn was designing during the same period IIM Ahmedabad. So they made a pressure to the government, okay, we should give this project to Louis Kahn. But finally, our Indian politician decided to go for Gandhian principle, and Mr. H.K. Mewada and Mr. P.M. Apte, these two architect planner has been given a responsibility. Both were working as a trainee with Lee Corbusier. It is interesting that our Doshi Sahib was also work in Corbusier's office in Europe as a trainee. So there are half a dozen people in country which has been working with Corbusier during those time. And they selected the site on the bank of river Sabarmati, which was centrally located in a state, and major transit route and railway was available during those days, and it can have upper city facility from Ahmedabad. So if you go to the layout, it's an axial layout. It was adopted, of course, from Chandigarh to have good infrastructure facility and ease of connectivity by doing such axial grid iron pattern. Then it has included separate work areas. Something different from Chandigarh. Capital complex, government offices, light industry, civic center, institutions and commerce, all has been designed in a separate fashion. While in case of Chandigarh, there was a temple of Chandi, Mata Chandi. From that the Chandigarh name appeared. It was small temple was there. It was on one hillock. So on that hillock, they have created this capital complex of Chandigarh, where High Court is there, Vidhan Sabha is there, where Governor Palace was designed but it is not constructed. So all the major building, just like feudal times, king's time, the king stays at an upper level. So that was the things. While here it has been put in between the city. So it's a central portion, the capital complex has been put up. Land procurement, there was also a Gandhinagar notified area, and there was a Periphery Control Act. So the special PW division has been appointed to have an implementation and development. So how we are talking about neighborhood, we are talking about sectors, more or less it's same. So Perry and Stay, they were the American architect planner in 1929. They decided what should be the basic city block, right? It should be always a physical tool and where connecting each other, and by adding this it will create a town. So it will increase the community interaction, school, parks, community, right? And planners can create a village or other framework if they want to do. So originally in planning history, Perry and Stein, they give this idea of neighborhood first. Now about the Gandhinagar. Each sector, residential sector is a 7,000 people with all the facility which I narrated. It's about 185 acre. While it was in Chandigarh, it was at 250. Dimensions here in Chandigarh, it was a 1,000 meter by 1,000. Here it is about 1,000 by 750 meter. And what they have kept, 50% will be government employee. And on the periphery, 50% will be the private people. They will auction the plot to the professional, to the businessman, to other people. So it is a mix. While in Chandigarh, it was not a mix. So these are the various zoning proposal. There are various road from 1 to 7. And letters has been used like Ka, Kha, Ja, Ja, Jha. Like that we know. And they have considered the wind direction, southwest to northeast. And all building has been oriented in that fashion. And they have kept a 600 meter green patch between the industry and residential sector. This is again about the capital complex detail. Then after that, the revised master plan was there in 91. It was implemented in 2011. Earlier, the growth in a dotted line, which Mr. Apte or Mr. Mewada has drawn, that was northwest. But if you see this plan, it is towards the Ahmedabad, so it is towards the southeast. So they have whole changed the master's basic concept. That was one. Second thing, the model has been changed. Earlier it was a land acquisition, now it is a TP scheme. So they cannot create a neighborhood which is already there. So it is just an extension of Ahmedabad. You can feel like that. And there were a city center and zonal district in each 4 or 5 centers. In 1996, the Guda has been constructed with 39 villages. I mentioned this. In 2011 plan, it was shifted towards southwards. That is towards Ahmedabad. You can see in this map. Earlier it was this side, going this. Now they have gone towards Ahmedabad. So these are the various uses in 2011 plan from R1 to R7. This is a unique plan. I have first time. Due to my ITPI engagement, I had been traveling and attending number of such conferences and lectures and seminars. So from R1 to R7 is a first concept. So they still try to protect the basic Gandhinagar. But we don't know when the politician will convert R7 to R1. So this is a big question mark. So Green Gandhinagar. See, all over the Gujarat there are how many square kilometers and how many trees are there. And if I have tried to compare between Delhi, Chandigarh and Gandhinagar. So forest cover in Delhi is 171, in Gandhinagar 31, in Chandigarh 17. And if you go for a percentage geographical area, so about 12% Delhi, 15% Chandigarh and 53.9, 54% is a Gandhinagar percentage of geographical area. So what are the learnings? What happened? Still significant number of people live in Ahmedabad but they work in Gandhinagar. Why? Due to their strong connectedness and short commute time. So in that case, my question is, will it retain its identity or it will become another suburb of Ahmedabad? In my epilogue, I will come to this point again. I will touch. So this is a planning critique between Gandhinagar and Chandigarh. Some people say it's a copy, Gandhinagar is a copy paste of Chandigarh. But Chandigarh didn't have a Ahmedabad, which Gandhinagar has. So it is a much difference between the two. Inner grids were, inner sectoral grid were also grid iron pattern, while in Gandhinagar, it has been organic pattern. Some pole system there, but due to less density, you cannot feel. But if you pour more density in that original sector, you will feel that you are passing through a non-vehicular pedestrian pole type environment. Now, as per heart of Corvus, Chandigarh, the shopping district, still when you go Chandigarh, your guide will say go to shopping district. Well, it is not so designed by Apte or this to have a such shopping district. Now we'll shift to Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is one of the main successful new town project in eastern India. Now it is a mature town project in a Calcutta urban agglomeration area. It is also called as a Bidhan Nagar on name of their Prime Minister. It was established in 1962. It was built on a marshy land, so that's why saltwater lake name has been popularly Salt Lake. So Salted, if you see today, it's a well-planned city, and relatively compared to Calcutta, it is less polluted also. It is equipped with more infrastructures. It's a home to Salt Lake Cricket Stadium. Before that, if you go to Calcutta's past, so Calcutta location is a natural harbor. So it is an ideal place, right? So East India Company founded Calcutta on eastern bank of the Hooghly, less than 65 miles from the Bay of Bengal. And due to that, there is a climate and hazards. The climate is not favorable, soil condition is not suitable, and during cyclone also, we have seen that when it comes to eastern coast. So from 17th to 19th century, it grew from a small colonial post to Calcutta. Then East India Company has been took over by the British Empire. The city underwent rapid industrial growth by after 1850. You can find number of the industry, particularly jute industry, where water is one of the prime requirements. So they had been on the bank of river Hooghly. First time in 1951 CMA, Calcutta Metropolitan Authority has been created. And what was at that time, what was the density? It was a 30,000 person per square kilometer, which was very high. At that time, before Salt Lake, they had another planning exercise. That was a Kalyani township. So Dr. Roy, Siddharth Shankar Roy, who founded a city of Kalyani. But this did not succeed due to not proper transport network. If you talk about Salt Lake, it's a 76 square kilometer marshy land. To just look after what is the whole Calcutta region, each day in 2001, 2 lakh passengers arrive and depart daily from 2 main stations of Calcutta, Howrah and Selda. These are the 2 stations. So after few effort, one central metropolis organization for planning and enterprise, one Serbian company, it is an engineering and contracting company for waterworks from the Belgrade was considered. Then 9 number of jury of government accepted proposal on 1964. As we know, the Salt Lake City is virtually surrounded on 3 sides by water, with the river to the west, Bay of Bengal to the south, and series of saltwater tidal lakes on other east. So NDDCO, a Dutch engineering company, coordinated their plans with the state's effort to dredge parts of the Hooghly River. Earlier, due to the salting, they required desilting. There was a huge silting in Howrah. So to open up the Calcutta harbor, they required huge desilting. So this company, the Dutch company, has pump out with great mud pump all that mud from the river to the wetland of Salt Lake. And a process is called hydraulic filling, and water was drained off in nearby canals, and eventually they raised the land. Otherwise it was a marshy land. We know about the 1958 cholera epidemic. In 1966, CMPO published the Basic Development Plan, that is BDP. But in this BDP, they have banged upon the two-center strategy for development. Plan called for the growth around metropolitan center. So they decided about, at 25 miles, they have decided few townships. So Kalyani is there, Salt Lake is there, then another Bansab area township is there. So there are number of the township around Calcutta. So now you will not found. If you travel from Calcutta to Salt Lake City, you will find it is merged. But their approach is not going ahead with single largest metropolitan body. So who was the designer? So as we know, from 1955-56, the communists were ruling the West Bengal. So you can find a guy from Yugoslavia, Toskovic. So Toskovic is a designer of a Salt Lake City. So I'm talking about either Koisenberg or Lee Corbusier or Albert Mayer or Louis Kahn, and then this Toskovic. So it is inspired by the modernist ideal, right? What was his sense? Sanitize former master plan spaces. He has seen the Calcutta, existing Calcutta. So tagline was sanitize formal master plan spaces. His the drawings were on a heavy green spaces which you can find right now in Salt Lake City. He created some 74 super blocks divided into 5 sectors. Sector 1, 2, 3 were open in 69, sector 4 other has done. And it was also a rehabilitation. So one sector has been given to refugee. The people, those who have migrated from East Pakistan, they have given a place in Salt Lake City. So market, super block. But this is understanding the bottom line. He said that 30% of resident plot to be set aside for a single family home, while 70% of plots were designated for an apartment building to gain the density. So during those days, if you construct an apartment, nobody will buy. So you required a single home family, right? But what happened? The politician has converted totally reverse. Now in Salt Lake City, 70% are the villas and only 30% are the apartment type building. This is a housing. There are 18,000 habited houses were constructed in first phase. So earlier it was a reputation of a sleepy suburb, but now it's a place for older people, right? Place for retired people. But in last 2 decades, it has been converted into a IT hub, very thriving. You can see MG Road of Bangalore. Such kind of atmosphere is there if you go to Salt Lake City. As I was talking about the other satellite town, they are the Barshad, Rajarhat, Bariapur, Uluberia. These are the another satellite towns. Learnings and critics. So it has been decided. So it was already a service urban supply land available. So after 91, the state government took the opportunity and they started in one area, right, all the IT and ITES industries. And due to that, it's a high-tech IT hub at present. And this township, they had not only Salt Lake, I'm talking about Salt Lake, but as I said, you Kalyani and all other township. So all have, they have seen that being a communist mindset, they have seen that the medical and transportation and other facilities is must. And it is there. So now you can say, you cannot say about 2 or 4 sector of Chandigarh or a Gandhinagar, a city within city. So this is a city within city. Now Navi Mumbai. So as we know, congestion of Mumbai metropolis. So in 1970, CIDCO has been conceptualized. Navi Mumbai is right now for a planner. It has addressed number of the shortcomings. It has somewhat controlled the unplanned growth. There is an organized development. So Mumbai being a financial and economical capital, they deliver 6% to India's GDP in 2015. They handle 40% sea traffic. They are producing 22% of industrial production, the Mumbai whole region. And if you talk about the Dharavi, so-called, it estimates 16,000 small factory in Dharavi, employing 2 lakh workers. So this is the existing scenario of Mumbai. So how this 7 island has been merged to Greater Mumbai and then Greater Mumbai. At that time, eminent architect Charles Korea, one Mr. Siris Patel, and Mr. Siris Patel is just died in Bangalore some few weeks back. And Pravina Mehta, they had an idea how to ease the pressure of Mumbai, how to ease the congestion, how to solve the housing problem, how to check the growth of slums, right? So they started a movement and it was a big movement. They go to Lions Club, they go to Rotary Club, they go to the business organization, they go to the planning and architecture schools. And due to that, Navi Mumbai has been happen. It was a cluster of 7 islands. There was a geographical constraint and rapid urbanization, increased industrialization. And South Mumbai was a city which was having 10,000 person per square kilometer, which a density. While if you just go 2 kilometers in Bhuleshwar, 2 lakh people per square kilometer is a density. So this is the difference. So due to unique geography, expansion was only possible towards north, and it is the only urban complex or metropolitan urban area which has a linear 45 kilometer long straight line, railway line. So start from Churchgate and go up to the Bhayandar. So for this they had a Barway committee and they said there should be underground railway, suburban dispersal should be there, decentralization of industries and some wholesale market, housing shortage should be met with, but it could not work. Then Gadgil committee, that was a second committee for Mumbai's issue. Then only the Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Authority, which is here today, has been created in 1967. And then at that time, there were two alternatives. Few people were saying that on the northern district, just adjacent to Mumbai, there should be a Navi Mumbai. And few people were advocating that it should be across the Thane Creek, right? So there was a great survey has been done. And what they happen, if it is nearer or to the existing city, then it will be a very unmanageable big megapolis. And in that case, business may go away. So for them, business was a Gita mantra for them. So they decided for Navi Mumbai. So Navi Mumbai aimed to address QEC. One is the housing, second is the transport, third is the employment. So initially it was designed for a 20 lakh population, having a 7 lakh jobs to be created in Navi Mumbai. There is a CBD Belapur. So if you go, they have taken, these are the different nodes. So it's a different concept, looking to the terrain, geographical constraint and existing Konkan railway and existing national highway and the flat land available. They have created various nodes. So CBD is one node, which is a business district. So their location is in between. So from CBD you can see that is marked blue. So on all the directions, other residential and commercial and industrial activity has been spread. And most of the land was a low-lying. It was a mangrove land, right? So they have some reclamation. But even though they fear that, the flooding. So what they have done, they have created unsuitable land, a pond. So during the heavy pond, this lake will be filled. And this lake will be their water supply. They will be sponged during the heavy flood. And it will serve the ecological purpose also. So this is in 1970, draft plan was published. CIDCO was designated as a town development authority. In that case, Thane, Panvel, Uran and Nova Seva Airport, all development has been properly considered. So it was initially 344 square kilometer. So acquisition was started, but out of that, you can see 15% is a low-lying land where forest, green zone, all were there. So they have tried to match the natural landscape also. So these are the villages in which there are 29 villages from Thane or 28 in Panvel. It has been taken land for 438 square kilometer. Now about the rehabilitation. Excellent scheme. I have seen in Chandigarh I could not find anything. There are still some cases. In Gandhinagar also I know there are still some cases of land acquisition in Gujarat High Court. In Salt Lake City it was a marcy land. And only CM requested one Jamindar. So it was unfertile land. All is 200-300 hectares. So in 1 rupee that Jamindar has donated to the state. So in Kolkata, there was no land acquisition issues. But here, there was an issue. But there is a special rehabilitation cell and they have given a stipend, educational facilities, skill upgradation center, compulsory job in an industry and offices which are coming to Navi Mumbai. And all the village has been taken care. And there is a village zone. So each node is a 1 lakh. As I have told you, there are various nodes. So each zone is a 1 lakh to 2 lakh. And this node were on a existing mass rapid transit system. Then in 1990s, in initial year of 70 to 90, they don't found much response, Navi Mumbai. So in 1990, CIDCO has a first time a proposal of private sector. So few sectors, they had a big plot and they have been given to the private developer. So by giving them to the private developer, CIDCO was generating the resource. And second thing, this private developer are constructing, and with their skill they are giving, and from their marketing they are pulling the people from the island Mumbai. So it was a great success scheme, particularly in a new city. What was the housing stock? So CIDCO, as per the older, by 2004, they have already given 1,65,000 houses. And you can see where 47% is a EWS, 37 is a LIG, and MIG is about 15%. So these are the revenue village and their development plan. And in 91, what happened in 1990? 74 and 75 amendment. So from top down to down top approach has been started due to the constitutional amendment. And due to that, it was compulsory. And so CIDCO has given all these things to NMMC, New Mumbai Municipal Corporation. And now they have prepared one plan for 2038 for future urban growth and improving the civic services. So one of the things, 25% of the city was composed of low-lying area. Even though there is a success, green spaces, if we talk about the green spaces, excellent green spaces, 80 open spaces by number are there in Navi Mumbai, and which account built up area is 56.5, while 24% is a wetland, 12% is a wasteland, 5% is agriculture, and 1.27% is a water, 0.32 is a water body. So they have retained all that things. Learning, special economic zone, still they had a special economic zone under the SEZ policy to promote global business. So their vision is global. And one thing is just nearby, in the plan, the red is Island Mumbai, Greater Mumbai, yellow is a Navi Mumbai, and third is a third Mumbai. It's a new movement in last 3 years, Navi Mumbai. That is Naina. What is Naina? It's a new airport industrial authority. That is with another 174 village. And it directly touches to the newly constructed Atal Setu, the second link which has been started some 6 months back. So learning are one of the important learning. The environment permission of Mumbai airport took 13 years. Why? When my designer is designing for a private sector guy, he is more sensitive to the rules and regulations and environmental sensitivity. But here, either implementing people or the designing people, they said we are the government and this is a government. So it took 13 years, so that's why Navi Mumbai has suffered a lot. JNPT Trust is in operation. And this Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, which is Atal Setu, which has been already started. So I talk about Naina, which is in 474 square kilometer. Navi Mumbai Airport Influence Notified Area, that is Naina. Now I will talk about the FSI. what he has done, there was a blanket FSI. All node have a same one FSI. So the critic says, suppose it's a Vasi just nearer to Navi Mumbai, having number of the facility, it should have more FSI. While suburb which is very far, some 20 kilometers from CBD Belapur, it should have one FSI. So FSI also should be sensitive to the environment, the natural landscape. So it is not there in case of Navi Mumbai, Naya Raipur. So there is nothing much about Naya Raipur. Interesting story. This is a blah blah blah, green capital city. Naya Raipur development plan for prepared for 2031. Of course, it is a green city. But talk about the existing Raipur city. It was a Chhattisgarh's capital. And it's a very very vibrant marketplace, like Indore, for state and rural by area, so in the whole region. But it was overburdened. And in that case, they decided to go some 17 kilometers away from the Raipur. So, 17 kilometers away on a southeast, they had done, they say that they have done an exercise over 50 kilometers circle radius as a center of Raipur, and 4 quadrants were there, and they assess all the things like transportation, regional development, soil characteristics, and then they decided for Naya Raipur. It's 15 kilometers or 17 kilometers, having 8,000 hectares. 29% was a government land, again 21% was a private owned land. And this land was immediately transferred to Naya Raipur Development Authority, NRDA. What were the rate? So it was a 17 lakhs per hectare, plus 2.5 lakh if it is irrigated, plus ex gratia 1.75. So it goes to more than 20 lakhs. So it was a good sum. So they have not to proceed under the LAQ Act. No section 4, no section 6. There was just an agreement with the landowner. But this is a very interesting rehabilitation scheme. One village, the Rakhi, they have called Naya Rakhi. It's a village. So 400 individual plotted houses has been developed of a displaced village, which was there in a layer 1. And number of the things, annuity 15,000 per acre has been given. What is annuity? When your agricultural land goes to the acquisition, then for the land owner, the farmer, this was their prime livelihood. What will happen? So they are giving 15,000 per acre till 2031. So we are talking about this was happening 2005. So for 25 years, they are giving this annuity. And VDP is a village development plan. We talked something. So these are the layer. Layer first, 18 kilometer, layer 2, layer 3. This is a planning phase. So there was 3 phases. Third phase is not important. It's an airport zone. But phase 1 and phase 2. So right now phase 2 is just an acquired land. Nothing is there on the site. And they have done a 9 land use. So it is you can say it's a sector or gridiron pattern, but it is a linear form. Why it is a linear form? Due to the existing railway line, they are finding a curvilinear things. And due to that, they selected this site. So the overall shape of the city is a linear one due to the cruciform. First time they have done the light flatted group industry. Generally till today, in our Gujarat GDCR also, you can never not have a 3-storied industry. It is not permissible. If I am wrong, somebody may correct me. But you can have small light industry on upper floor. So you can save the very precious service urban land. So mixity, public transport, space and worker social resources, positioning. So these were studied by one urban planning studio has been taken by the great town planner of Europe, and they are happy with the project. Project design and project implementation. These are the various proposals. Some 25,000 houses are there. Out of that, which is constructed something in 2007 or 8. So only 200 houses are occupied. All are vacant. So today's tech, the state formed in the year 2000. More than 2 decades after the formation is still said to be one backward state. The GDP of the Chhattisgarh is 3.83 lakh crore, while of India is 232 crore. So you can see it is not around 1% of the India's GDP is from Odisha. And Naya Raipur was for additional GDP. It was in their aims and objectives. They have not produced any, but they have created a new expenditure venue. So some 26,000 crore on the capital building only, 580. So these are the 2015 figures. So if you go today, something around 10,000 crore has been invested. And the population is merely 36,000 people are staying. Now Amravati, great dream city of Chandrababu Naidu. As we know, Andhra has been divided in Haryana, in Telangana and Andhra. So Andhra owns a new city. Chandrababu Naidu decided. And he was the politician who has been called first time as a CEO. He was a chief minister, but first time. So in September 2014, they decided to have their new capital. So they go for Vijayawada. Why they go, we'll discuss. So 217 square kilometer has been kept, which was adjacent to river Kaveri. So they go for a land pooling system. The system was that they prepared the master plan and then they bifurcated the master plan in various TP schemes. And they took the land from the farmer by selling the dreams. They tempted the farmer to be one of the actors in land speculation. So the political force was there. And initially they also saw that initially they started their Bhumi Pujan within 6 months, these, that. So, and these are the various small things. By lottery system, draw will be there. All will get some smaller portion. About 18% is a residential and 7% will be commercial. So 75% land has been taken by them, but taken for the city. So 33,000 plots, 24,000 in a plan, commercial plot. And for the landless laborer, some 5,000 rupees they are giving. They are giving also annuity, which is more than 9 crore rupees per month. They are still paying. Still they have paid already 427 crore to LPC owner as an annuity. Now this is the interesting. June 2014 state bifurcation, August 2014 announcement of new city, September 2014 capital city location finalized, December 2014 APCRD has been formed and enacted the land pooling system. May 2015, 33 actors land pooling completed. April 2015, capital city name Amravati. May 2015, concept of master plan published. Then land pooling development plan in September 2016, final master plan in September 2016, and draft master plan published in 2016. And lottery for giving was also done in October 2016. And before they were going for an election, they issued the notification. Final notification that this land has been now ownership of government and this portion is given under LPS to them. So accordingly rectification must be done in a revenue. So these are the consultants, Surbana Jurong from Singapore, some Maki associate, then British renown from Foster Plus, and Singapore's company has been given for 6.84 kilometer. A contract has been finalized before 2019 election. So we know that after visiting Japan and China, he want to conceptualize Amravati to be like a Singapore. So MOU has been done with the Singapore government. All we have talked. About land pooling also we have talked. Now what happened in June 2019, ISR Congress, Jagan Reddy Congress came. And they found that before declaring Vijayawada as a capital city, the politician of that party has taken huge chunk of land, right? And they were of another location. They had also political interests at some other cities. So you can see the prices of land from 5 to 7 lakhs in May has been increased in October 25 to 30 lakhs. Pure case of speculation. So this is the planning proposal, some 5.5 by 1 kilometer. 60% they boost that 60% is greenery and water. Highest standard of sustainability and artificial intelligence, digital, all has been boosted. It's a rectangular grid divided into 27 part of 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer. 1 lakh population in each square. Then neighborhood is a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. 2 by 2 into 4 is a 1 by 1 is a neighborhood. Then neighborhood 1/2 into 1/2. So another 4 community. It is known as a community. Then community is into cluster. So from 50 to 30 acres. So politics in planning. So in 2015, Naidu go for very rapidly go for a new capital city. But in 2019, Jagan government, that is a YSR government, has repealed the whole APRCDA, Andhra Pradesh Regional Capital Development Authority, who is the owner of all LPS and landowner. He repealed all that things. And he declared 3 places as a capital. One is a Visakhapatnam, one is a Amravati itself, and one is a Guntur. So judiciary from Guntur, administration from Amravati, and secretariat and ministers will be in Visakhapatnam. And meanwhile, what another political gamut happened in 2018, Telugu Desam has withdrawn their support from NDA government. So NDA government stopped paying. Before that, he got more than 2,000 crore. But after that, in 2018 May or June, he withdrew the support from NDA government. NDA government stopped doing, and then he went to private banking. Private banking also say no to him. Then he went to World Bank as a state. I'm talking, but there was a huge propaganda from landowner to World Bank. So and in World Bank loan, the guarantor should be central government, so it was also not possible. So now what will happen if now he's trying to table turn again, but what will happen to this 25,000 farmer who has stopped farming, their land has been level, some road, one road photograph which I have taken, that is a real Amravati photograph. They had one 80-meter wide road has been constructed, six lane. So this is in India's urban planning history. This is a different case which is to be studied. Now the farmers, those who have left their rural character, rural habit, rural customs, and they had been given one commercial shop, so they were waiting to have a shop or other petty things there, but it is not materialized. So in 2020, AP Decentralization and Equal Development of All Regions Bill came. In 2019, he came to the power, and in 20 he did like that. So some people went to the High Court, and High Court has given to start our infrastructure development at Amravati. So, but in 21, 22, 23, nothing much development has been taken place, and he was going ahead with Legislative Assembly to pass a resolution to have 3 capital cities. So villagers are there acquired. So participating public through land pooling. This provide context for land owning cultivators have engaged with state and market, real estate market, they have been engaged in the context of forced urbanization. It was a forced urbanization and voluntary land alienation. So about location, I'll throw a few question. Location, what should be the location? If you're going a greenfield new city, it should be adjacent or it should be 50, 60, 70 kilometers away. So that is a big question in India's context, which a planner has to decide. Then what is the land procurement? Can you go for new land acquisition 2013 Act? No. It's very complex, lengthy, and you don't have that fund also to acquire such a huge chunk of land. So another private model has to be think. Regional perspective. Okay. Town receives the services from region, and region receives the benefit of town, employment and other. So regional perspective I have not seen in most of the plan, or not even single a chapter or one plan has been drawn. Planning and implementation is also how to plan is a different story, but planning should be in coherence with the implementation. It should be phase wise, how it should be go ahead. Then, as I said you, suggestion for comprehensive new town policy for India. There should be one guideline. There should be like UDPFI guideline, which serve the whole country. So there should be some guideline when you are creating something more than 200 hectare, 400 hectare, size may be anything. Then some people say the land should be with the government, and then you can have a land capture mechanism, and then that land you can distribute among the community. So it should not be 100% land pooling system, but there should be a government role, and particularly any location. If you go for a 100 square kilometer area, there will be 30 to 40% government land, and that land should be utilized as one of the resources to create the resources for infrastructure. So density, energy performance, environment responsiveness, safety, public health, cost efficiency, appropriative to the poor, resilience, city parking strategies. Right now, there was nothing has been think about Chandigarh's traffic and transportation policy. So right now, what happened? If you want to go to Mohali, you have to go through the Chandigarh. From Panchkula, you have to go to Mohali, you have to pass through the Chandigarh. So such has not been done. I will talk about the Navi Mumbai single FSI. So I will talk about the density, urban fringe. What happened? In most of the plan, barring Naya Raipur or barring Navi Mumbai, there was not enough provision for EWS. But there should be a special provision which is there in Mumbai plan for those land owners also. And similarly, there should be a special provision for construction worker. These construction workers are in 50,000-60,000 workers. They are here for 10 years to construct city. And after that, if you want to throw them away, they are not going to away. So in nearby, there will be Jaggi and Jhupdi, which they will be there in a city periphery area. So how to control the urban fringe? Periphery Control Act was there. It was good in the book. But in Chandigarh, it was not there. In Gandhinagar, it was also not maintained. So in two cities, only periphery control was there, but it was abolished by ABC reason in future. Slums and housing, social, environment, implementation. Finance. If we talk about urban finance, any urban finance, 48% is a 50% central stack, 25% is a state, 15% is a local self-government. This is an average. And 10-15% from their own pocket of a local government or from loan from commercial bank. So in this case, how to go ahead with a plan? In Chandigarh, still the livability index is excellent. Why? In central budget, they are getting some 8 to 9,000 crore rupees to maintain the Chandigarh being a union territory. So, new towns versus expanding existing town. What we should go? Gandhinagar only 22 kilometer or Naya Raipur 17 kilometer will work. Then in that case, just Chandkheda and Motera, all area were vacant. And it was not irrigated during that time. So you have to push the Gandhinagar here. Then your cost of the city construction may be half. So having studied the development of India's new towns, I am left with more questions than answer. Do we truly need to build new towns, or should we focus on revitalizing the existing ones? Many of the towns built since independence have struggled to become vibrant urban centers, offering economic opportunity, cultural richness and high quality living. While some have succeeded in special areas, others remain works in progress, raising important questions about the effectiveness of urban planning strategy and pouring huge nation's capital, which is underdeveloping nation. Thank you.
That was quite an insightful presentation, sir. I'd like to now invite Professor Utpal Sharma, our chief guest, for his concluding remarks.
Yeah, after a kind of long, elaborate lecture, so I'll be very brief. So this whole idea about the new towns, actually this the book that is being written, we had a series of lectures in this hall itself about 7-8 years ago, where we called people for each of the area. Like those who were presenting for Chandigarh, somebody came from IIT, talk about Bhubaneswar. Then even somebody coming for Islamabad. Yes. No, Akhtar Chauhan. Like that, But I think NK put together all of them nicely, and somehow they were not covered. Amravati and Raipur, even Navi Mumbai was not so good. We organized that. Now it is to put together. And what basically to summarize is that here lot of foreign architect came and they tried doing this super block and low density, but certain thing about good quality road network pattern etc. I think they were interesting and we should have done that. But many of these are kind of a idea from some other place and probably it was not so much relevant to our context. And we assumed that we don't know enough and we have to have a foreign architect. And we went ahead. Chandigarh is good example. Now given all this, so we need to have proper planning of our city. We need both new towns and as well as the plan of existing cities to expanding, because we have now more than 8,000 towns and cities. And there are new cities are being built. Our urbanization level is actually low compared to what we should be. We are still more rural, Assam, Bihar, 15% only. But the Gujarat maybe more than 50% because हमने census नहीं किया है, but Tamil Nadu, Gujarat have crossed the level. So given these new city plans are to be made, but at the end, I would like to say that our urban planning in India is in shambles, because the major issue is the issue of land. As you see that we don't have the land to really make a plan. Whenever we are able to acquire the land, we are able to do a plan. Whenever we are not able to do anything, we have the city been expanded on an ad hoc basis. Second part is that we don't even have money. You have municipal taxes, etc. People are not even paying taxes. With that, we cannot even repair the road. Forget about acquiring land and making a new city. So all these examples, the money has been coming from the center, or somewhere there it is being managed. So land and the money. And third can be the maybe qualified manpower who is preparing the plan. Earlier government was preparing the plan itself and they themselves approve it. So now maybe private sector is coming and doing it. So we need to handle all these three things. Other thing that is when India became independent, we were less than 10% urban. So in the constitution of India, there is hardly any money for urban from the central sector. It is all left to the state and the municipality. All the money is to the center. We want to make a powerful country. Center take all the money, they distribute. Then there are so many responsibilities, there is no money left for urban, for the state. And the municipality, they have no money to pay the salary. Okay. The given this, how to really do? In spite of all of that, 75% of the India's GDP is coming from the urban. And out of this, maybe sizable will be informal sector like Dharavi, etc., etc. So we are creating money for the country, but the country is not giving back anything to the city to live. Like if you have an earning member in a family, the head of the family get one extra roti, he should not fall ill. But we are actually starving the city in order to benefit everybody else and our whole. That's how the center has realized all of this. But they are not going to make the amendment in the constitution to make it into a concurrent list, so that there is a budget allocation for urban. 70% of the GST for urban. Can you do it? Because it will be a political thing. Okay. So you give a lollipop like a smart cities mission. You do urban renewal mission. You give little bit of money. Okay. But you need a budget allocation for urban. It will happen when the urban will cross 50% at the country level. The politics will change. Okay, there it will be fought and the urban will win. There is a little time, because right now we need to get the vote from the rural area to be in power. So the power will not be given to the urban. Okay, so there is a slight shift that is happening, and slowly the central funding or large section of the budget has to be for urban infrastructure, because urban infrastructure is expensive. We need money and handle the issue of land. Unless we are able to do that, we can keep talking about urban planning. The other thing that is happening is that as country with a poor infrastructure will result in mega cities. We talk about small town is beautiful, Gandhinagar, garden cities, etc. This I read this, I teach this to my students, but I know that it's not going to happen. So India is the country of the big is beautiful. We have city like Hyderabad, 1.8 crore, Delhi, 4.5 crore, not even 3. I did a plan for Gautam Budh Nagar, that got approved for 40 lakh people. Okay. And there, because we are paying market price for the acquisition, 15,000 rupees. Just change in the land, there is nothing on the land. We are able to sell it for 2 lakh rupees a square meter. And the Yamuna Expressway Authority is flush with money without doing anything on ground. But it cannot happen everywhere. So, but I think we need to change it so that we get the money and the issue of land. If you are not able to handle this, we are going to get this huge megacity and difficult. Each of the states is supposed to, they are mandated to create the urbanization strategy for the state. We are making master plan for each of the town, but what is going to happen to Gujarat 20 years from now? We have no proposal. We should do working at a regional level. Shall we make Ahmedabad bigger? Shall we develop Bhavnagar? Shall we develop the ports in Gujarat, where economy of Gujarat probably will be port based? Why do you need the DMI corridor Delhi to Mumbai, where the Gujarat had 2,000 kilometers of coastal area? So at a regional level, we can work it out. Each state, they can do it under the constitution, so that we can talk about a settlement pattern and not really making independent master plan for each of the town. So this is what we must do, and each state has to they can do it. Okay. Then we can develop infrastructure. Without that, existing town like Bangalore for Karnataka, Hyderabad for this, Ahmedabad for Gujarat. Gujarat is little better because that Ahmedabad, Surat, Baroda and Rajkot. Each state has one mega city and each away everything. You remove Mumbai for Maharashtra and Mumbai, Pune, Maharashtra will be as poor as Bihar. Okay. Because there is no regional infrastructure and there is no strategy. So I think we have to really work on this. Land, money, regional strategy, plus the need in the change in the constitution to really have budget allocation for urban development from the center, because you are creating right now 75%, it will be 90% of the national income will be from urban. So we need a good share of that to provide infrastructure. I think that is to be realized, because when the constitution is made, we are a poor country. Gandhiji told India lives in villages. Okay, and we did all of that. But now India is in the cities. Okay, and the change has to come, and it is going to happen. Given this scenario, what is the role of an urban planner? What can you do? So we need qualified people, lots of people that are required. Many times the jobs of the planner is done by Mamlatdar and all kinds of people. You go to Calcutta, you don't even have to make a map, you just write in the report. Along the road, so many meters, this is allowed, but no drawing. Okay. So I think qualified manpower, and now it is happening is that we have to also look at land and urban design framework. Now we have to do not only allocation of land with yellow blue color, but we have to look in 3 dimensions. And to be able to talk about image and character of the city, can you learn from Jaipur like what Vidyadhar Nagore presented? Can you learn from our historic cities, reinterpret and make new cities for ourselves than to copy paste Singapore or Los Angeles in India? Okay. Politicians, they are not planners, they go and see something, aisa humko chahiye, theek hai? But we need to do a lot of work for ourselves to develop our lessons, and we have to make our cities, and we don't have to really copy paste. I think it is at that level that many of the educational institutions also have to come forward and train their people that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I'll request Shri Deepak Patel, our Vice President, to present the memento to Shri N.K. Patel, our Speaker. I'll request Shri Chirag Patel, our past president, to present the memento to Shri Utpal Sharma. I'll now invite Shri Keshi Patel, our past president, to present the memento to Shri Bhargav Desai. Okay, so towards our conclusion now, I'll invite Shri Rakesh Parekh, our Joint Secretary, for the vote of thanks. Thank you.
On behalf of GICA, the Gujarati Institute of Civil Engineer Architect, also Association of AMA and GCCI, and supported by CERN and ITPI, and also joining NAREDCO. We special thanks to N.K. Patel sir as today's speaker, chief guest as Professor Utpal Sharma, guest of honor Sri Bhargav Desai, and today is a third seminar which is conducted by Sri N.K. Patel sir, very informative regarding the towns. Last seminar also redevelopment, which is strategically explained by the Patel sir, like as an economist. So, as Bhargav Bhai Desai had told, ઋષિ ભાઈ વિદ્યા વાપરતા વધે, આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ છીએ. એટલે ટુ બેક ટુ ધ સોસાયટી, એ રીતે એમણે અત્યારે આપણે નોલેજ શેરિંગમાં આપણે થર્ડ સેમિનાર બહુ સ્પેશિયલી આપણે સમજાયો. I request to all to join GICA by Meta, X and Instagram for upcoming programs. And last, join the dinner. Thanks. ફર્સ્ટ ફેબ્રુઆરીનો જે પ્રોગ્રામ હતો એ હાલમાં પોસ્ટપોન કર્યો છે. નવી ડેટ છે એ આપને જણાવવામાં આવશે. થેન્ક યુ.